Hello and welcome to another episode of Honest to a Malt with myself, Duncan Donuts, top fox spotter, Tupatar, a long-suffering LA Chargers fan. And this week we've got a special guest.
Here he goes.
Here we go.
I'll save my rant.
Yeah. It's been said his voice was stolen from Frank Sinatra. He's tried over 10,000 whiskies, including necking Hakushu 25 from a Swedish shoe. And he's incredible at blowing trumpets. This week we welcome on Cliff Whiskey.
Hello, Cliff.
Hello.
Some of those things may not have been factually accurate.
That's all right. That's okay. Pleasure to be here.
Do we need to do some warm-up vocal exercises with everyone?
We might need to do something.
How now, brown cow?
Yeah, so Cliff's come on the pod finally, which we're really happy about. It was very difficult to get hold of him, you know, through your agent and everything. It's kind of you to waive your fee. Just to come on this time.
You were almost as difficult to get hold of as Mike Bubbins, I gotta say.
Well, you know.
Close.
Bubbins levels of difficulty.
Yeah.
We were supposed to record with Cliff before Christmas, but then we had to postpone it. So thanks very much for coming on.
It's all right.
Thanks for your patience.
That's all right.
Cliff, do you want to just do a wee bit of an introduction for yourself for listeners today?
Yeah, my name's Cliff. I don't have a lot to say about myself. I feel like it may be a bit of an imposter syndrome coming on here, but
underselling yourself there.
Yeah. But you know, I'm involved in the old whiskey community on Twitter and X, whatever it's called these days, and
Blue Sky now.
Blue Sky.
We're leading the way.
Instagram, and obviously got to know you guys through the blind drams and all of that. A big whiskey fan. I like running. I like heavy metal. I like all things like that, and it's good to be here.
He likes singing. He likes making music.
You once recorded at Maida Vale Studio.
Yeah, that was a big adventure. That was great fun.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Did you?
I was in a band when I was in late teens, early 20s, and we won a competition on Tommy Vance's Friday Rock Show on BBC. And,
is he being arrested as a paedophile? Or are we okay to mention him? It's hard to say these days.
Ex-BBC.
Yeah. He's not around anymore. But and we won it, and we went down and we recorded 4 songs at Maida Vale, and it was great fun. It was really good. And then we split up, musical differences, all that.
always split up before you make lots of money. That's
Absolutely.
the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
Always.
But it was good.
You don't want the money, do you? Just split up before you get to the hassle.
Well, it's good to know you've been to the effort of going to Maida Vale to record your songs for the podcast, which features heavily previously.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, most of them have been recorded on the bog.
Yeah.
Cliff likes to send us bits and pieces of music. He chips in. Obviously, your absolute peak was "Candles Down Your Chin."
Yeah, candles.
I'll be when you're on your deathbed. You wish you'd done more stuff. I'll be like, I wish I'd listened to that again.
Yeah,
I wish I'd come up with
I
it.
should have just listened. Yeah,
I'd be like, I wish I ate more candles.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what's the name of the episode?
So we are episode 83, and it is Never Meet Your Fans. Tongue-in-cheek episode.
Indeed.
I'm not worthy.
And as you mentioned, writing songs on the bog, I think we now have a name for your segment of music, and it's music from the peat bog.
Yeah, well,
Done.
there you go.
Writes itself. We'll have to do a little
Indeed.
pre-jingle before we put your music on going forward.
Now, I've done because it's Never Meet Your Fans, as an icebreaker, I've organised you to a quiz to kick us off today.
An icebreaker, we know each other.
No, I know, but just...
for the listener.
For the
listener icebreaker.
It's a quiz about fans. That's obviously before we get into talking about
You
whiskey.
got no fans!
But actually, before that,
Yeah.
Cliff's on first this week. Cliff's, what has been in your glass or what's been up your arse?
Well, I've not had that much actually. Last dram I had was we had a bit of a trial on Blue Sky, didn't we? And we had a couple of drams there. That was quite interesting to see what the old ex-Twitter, now Blue Sky experience was like. So I had a few drams there and really, really enjoyed the Jane Ziri Finglassie dram, which was just absolutely stunning. So I've been enjoying that, and also the Ardbeg Society bottle. It's just The two of them are quite similar drams. Actually, they're quite a similar profile and really right up my street. But at the moment, I've got a Whiskey Pioneer Henstone Distillery Old Dog Corn whiskey in the glass, and I haven't tried it yet. So that's what's in my glass.
Nice.
Maybe talk about it later. 3 years and 5 months old. So there you go.
Henstone,
Just legal.
bourbon.
Yeah.
Well, not bourbon. I take it it's just corn whiskey. It can't be called bourbon.
The mash bill is 68% corn, 16% wheat, and 16 barley.
Where is that made? Do you know?
Shropshire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen loads of mention of Henstone. I've never actually got my lips around it as such.
It's really, I mean, it's like lots and lots of apple on the nose. It's very fruity. It's only
I love a corn
41%.
whiskey.
It's not a biggie.
Has anything been ticking you off? What's been up your arse the last week?
Do you know, I'm pretty easy Ozzy, to be honest, and I think I think just the state of the world's been up my arse. I mean,
Cliff,
all
come
the
on,
horrible things.
Things have never been better. What else do you want?
Yeah.
Everything's working. Everything's hunky dory at the moment.
Whiskey prices are going down.
They are.
Prices are going down. What more do you want?
Yeah. Although I do have a couple of things to get off whiskey related that I do want to get off my chest.
Go on then.
And they're probably not so much recent, but certainly relatively recent.
How far back are you going? 1993? 1994?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. 1972. And
I was going to Maida Vale to record a song.
Yeah.
Go on, Cliff.
One of the things that really, really gets on my nerves is whiskey con men, and I'm gonna talk specifically about Edinburgh city centre. So I'm not too far. I met you guys in Edinburgh. I'm not too far from there, and I'm quite often in the whiskey shops in Edinburgh just to see,
outside asking for a quid.
Asking for a quid.
Yeah.
But I've had and actually in three different whiskey shops in Edinburgh, I've had experiences of things that just really boil my piss, as it were.
Piss. You can say piss. It's okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing is. And I am going to say Royal Mail Whiskies. It's not you, but I'm not going to say anyone else.
Cliff, you're getting emotional.
Oh, fucking name them. Name them. Shame.
So the first one, there's a big whiskey shop on the Royal Mail, and the number of times I've been in there, seeing them ripping off tourists, it really gets on my wick. I was in there once, and there was 2 young girls in there. I reckon they were like Portuguese or Spanish or something, and it's the usual. I want a bottle of whiskey for my dad. What does he like, right? They don't have a clue what he likes, right? And dad doesn't even know what he likes, right? But dad would be delighted with a bottle of whiskey from Scotland from his daughter, right? I mean, that's all they need. And this guy's trying to flog them like an £80 bottle of whiskey, right? Yeah. And there's a Tesco round the corner, and I'm like, Glenmorangie, 25 quid round the corner, get us.
Yeah, but they want to buy it from the little chintzy shop. That's the bit you have to understand. They don't want to go and buy it from a supermarket. They want to buy it from the chintzy shop, even if it costs £10 more.
I mean, you should have jumped up as a middleman there, Cliff. You could have gone to Tesco's, bought it at the cheap rate, and then gone in and gone, don't buy it here. I can sort you that out. Make a tenner.
Yeah.
Make a tenner, mate.
Yeah, just put a flashy suit on.
Definitely.
Maybe hide the tattoos.
Yeah, I need to do that. The other example was I walked into a whiskey shop in Edinburgh, and they've got at the front of the shop. So some people who know this shop will know the shop I'm talking about. At the front of the shop, there's a table where they do tastings. I walked in the shop, and there was no one else in the shop, and the guy was behind the counter, and no word of lie, he had a big plastic creosote bottle, and he was shaking it like this. I was shaking this creosote bottle, and as I walked in the shop, he shoved it under the counter, and he went, "Hello," surprised to see me.
What are you insinuating?
No, and I said,
was he painting a shed instead of working?
What he was doing, he told me. He was mixing caramel on
make it darker.
On the table. They've got a barrel with glass ends on it, and he said, "Oh, I've got a big party of tourists coming in for a tasting, and I just wanted this whiskey to look better." And I just thought, "You swine, absolute swine," So that was that.
That's horrendous.
Yeah. And then
that's an absolute bombshell.
It's horrific. And then the last one, and this wasn't that long ago. I was in another Edinburgh whiskey shop. And the guy wouldn't leave me. You know that way when you like just want to look, and they don't. If you ever go into Lush, actually, they're the worst. They don't leave you alone, right?
You mean the soap shop?
The soap shop.
No, I've never go into Lush. No.
But this guy wouldn't leave me alone, right? And And then he said, "What sort of whiskey do you like?" And I said, "Oh, I like Islay whiskies, I like peated whiskies and stuff." And he says, "Oh, have you seen this new Lefroy or whatever it was?" And I went, "Oh yeah, I've seen that." And he went, "He said it's really special." He said they take a really narrow cut off of the mash tun. That's what he said.
Oh,
and I'm thinking, "Oh, you take a cut off of the mash tun, do you?" And I thought, "Oh, you guys full of shit." And in that way where they're just trying to nail you, right? And I just honestly, so that really, all of that stuff really annoys me.
You didn't go back to. Yeah. Cut points on the mash tun. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And there is one whiskey shop there, and this is the guy that was selling the bottle to the young girls. If I see him in that shop, I don't go in the shop. I just don't go in because he drives me nuts.
Name the shop. Come on.
Whiskey Trail.
Hey.
Oh, hang on. We were in sponsorship talks with him. Thanks, Cliff.
It's gone now. We're not interested.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Whiskey Trail.
In the wind. In the wind.
That really boils my blood. So that's
good.
So that is what generally is up my arse.
That's a bombshell. It's very often, not often, I'm left with my mouth.
Yeah, I'm still shocked about the caramel.
The caramel one.
Now you've said it, I can believe people would do that, but that's terrible because it's changing the taste of it as well.
Yeah.
So
it was like a little like it was like like a sort of sugar sprinkler kind of thing, and it was full of caramel, and he was mixing it in this plastic bottle.
It's cheeky because all they'd really have to do to be genuine is put the whiskey out, but obviously just cut up bits of Mars bar and just leave it on the counter. And most people have a bit of Mars bar whilst they're drinking the whiskey anyway. And therefore it will still taste of caramel.
Irrelevant, But
they won't have actually changed the whiskey. People will go, "Oh yeah, that was really nice and sweet."
Or even do it in plain sight and say some people add this stuff and this is what it does, right? I mean,
can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like, you could show them both ways. You could say this is with it caramel added and this is without caramel added. Like some, cool.
That involves some form of honesty there. Which
wow.
Clearly.
Mike, what about yourself? What has been in your glass? Or what's in your glass now? And what's been up your arse?
What's been in my glass is, for the last couple of days, a Singleton 15-year-old 40% whiskey, which I found at the back of a cupboard. And do you know what? Really nice. Absolutely perfectly acceptable dram. If I had that anywhere, I'd be like, all over that.
Dufftown.
Perfectly palatable. Yeah. So, that's been in my glass. I've made some conscious effort now to start clearing some samples. So when we did the blind, or the test run, I should say, of blind drams on Blue Sky, during that conversation, it came around to samples, and I just showed the entire crowd my samples on the Zoom chat I was running alongside, and they were a gasp.
I was shocked. You sent me the video, and I was like, "What are you playing at? You've got thousands and so many in plastic."
And do you know what? I've now have 2 full bottles to the brim filled up of mixed samples, so like an infinity bottling, which I'm going to sort of maybe blend together and then start trying to progress that as a proper infinity bottle.
What you want to do is just bosh some caramel in there.
Give it a good
taste
shake.
Great. Just darken it right up, and you can sell it for like £100 a bowl.
Yeah.
And then what's been up my arse, as you mentioned at the start of the programme, so happily with your little fucking glee face at the LA Chargers getting smashed.
Yeah, but I watched it with you. I was in.
You did watch it with me. It was impressive. A new fan, however, was telling me what was happening and how they should be playing straight away.
Look, I'm in tune with sport. It doesn't matter what sport it is.
Literally, like instantly
Darts, football,
telling me what tactics
hockey.
they should be doing and stuff. And I'm just laughing, going, fucking hell, is he actually doing this? And he's like, well, I think the offense should be doing this. And I'm like, shut up, you dick.
Mike's going, oh no, we're going to definitely thrash these guys. Like, this is like they can't do anything. And then I was like, oh, they've scored again, Mike. And Mike's like, no, don't worry about it. We got this.
Get time though, Ed.
Back, yeah.
Duncan, that's it. We fucked it. I was like, I'm not watching anymore. We fucked it.
All the way to the end of the third quarter, and then you gave up, didn't you?
All hope. I felt ill the next day because of the lies, the barefaced lies I had to keep telling myself that there was a chance we were coming back in that game. And I was so confident that we were going to win that. And potentially go on and win the Super Bowl. Clearly, I'm an idiot, but alas. So what's been at my arse is the LA Chargers, the Houston defense, and my own stupidity and belief in losers. So how about you? What has been in your glass and what's been annoying you? Other than having to learn the rules of American football in 4 minutes.
Oh, no, I used to play the Madden games, and I have watched American football before, spoiler alert. It's just that it takes a lot of concentration to watch a game for that long. I struggle even with English football, as you've pointed out so many times.
Yes.
Because the ball's out of play for like 35 minutes of the game. You're like 35 minutes, just nothing.
And 10 minutes of people rolling around pretending to be injured.
Absolutely. Yeah. In my glass right now is Tamdu. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Once or twice.
Having a drop of Dalby Alley 4.
Are the sponsorship talks back up? Or are you just...
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Gordon Dallas, just, on the blower. It's calling me right now, actually. I just hung up. Yeah.
Permanent.
So, it's actually a good guy. And I'm going to have a drop of... What have you got there? Oh, he's got an old Tamdu. Cliff is showing us a bottle of old Tamdu Scotch malt whiskey.
70 proof, so that's got to be what? Early 80s, late 70s.
Yeah, something like that.
Are you saving that, Cliff? Or are you opening it?
I probably won't open it tonight. But...
Get it open, Cliff! That's all I was saying to you. Get it open!
Mike, put the pressure on. Open it. Open it.
It's in a little chintzy box as well.
Cliff, we'll never release this podcast unless you open it.
I'll maybe open it a bit later. But
it'll be like that. It'll be like that Wu-Tang Clan album. You'll have to travel somewhere in the world and go in, and you have to listen to it, and you can't take a copy of it. It'll be in like some Chinese warehouse. People travel 8,000 miles across the world to come and listen to episode 83.
We're going to put it in the Loch Lomond warehouse in the Chinese barrel section.
Yeah,
that's where we're going to just a pair of headphones.
Yeah. What I've also poured, because Cliff was talking about bourbon, I opened a fresh bottle. I finished a bottle of MGP, which is a little spicy for me, and I opened a fresh bottle of, this one's George Dickel. I really like George Dickel. It's a 7-year-old from SMWS called Log Cabin in the Black Forest. So I hadn't opened it yet. Name. Yeah, taste of blackcurrant forest gatto, sort of that type of stuff. Very good. And other than that, I finished off that Meckel Tour, the Turbo, which I haven't had a chance to talk about because I only mentioned I was drinking on the last one. I didn't actually say what it tastes like. And again, if I was trying it blind, I'd say it's in sort of Octomore territory. I'm not saying it's the same as an Octomore, a bit like the Longrow 18, which obviously is much older, but they all have that kind of like heavy peat, yet somehow gentle delivery. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like the peat is really full on, yet somehow it feels kind of gentle. So the peat's like really intense, but the whiskey's really smooth. I
think that's like widely known now as the Octomore effect.
Yeah. So like that. So I thought that Meckel Tour, the Turbo, which is the first release, really good. I can't remember any tasting notes for it. Just incredibly heavily peated. Bunch of other stuff going on.
Would you buy it? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Happy days.
For like 50 quid, was
What a review.
If you could get it, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
And what has been up my arse is quite specific. And this is something that's been playing on me for a while. And it's been really grinding on me. And it came back and I can't. There's an advert to do with Amazon where they play on like the radio, like on, in between shows like LBC or whatever, or on podcasts. It doesn't really matter. I don't know if you've heard of podcasts.
I don't listen to
no idea.
Don't listen to them. Waste of time. Anyway, we're doing an advert and, they always play noises. So that, if someone's pouring a glass of wine, they'll play the sound of the glass of wine. If it's a Marks and Spencer's advert, they'll play the sound of the chips frying or whatever. Yeah. So they're trying to encourage you to get into the spirit of it. And most of these sounds I'm fine with. But the sound that really gets on my nerve is the sound of people typing on a keyboard. It makes me want to throw the radio, throw my phone, and it catches you off guard. And I'm like, you say you're across the room. I'm like, I could walk across the room and turn the phone off or turn off the radio or the digital radio or whatever. By the time you've got to it and adjusted it, you've had to listen to it. And it's one of those sounds that really irritates me. And Amazon did it for a while. And now there's a new advert. Some genius marketeer has done another advert where they'll be doing something. There'll be somebody talking like, oh, and you should get into a bit tippy-tappy. No one types that loudly. No one has one of those keyboards anymore that when you type it sounds like gunshots on a keyboard. So that's what's been up my arse. And if somebody could invent something where you could filter out not all adverts, but just adverts with certain sounds, that would be terrific.
So you need a hearing aid with an isolator for certain sounds.
An isolating hearing aid. Yeah, it really bugs me.
I was once going down. I was on a train from Edinburgh and down to Manchester for work, and I had some stuff I had to get off my desk, as it were, on the way down. And I was just on a little double seat with a fold-down table, and I had a laptop, and I was trying to get this thing done, tapping away.
I bet you were eating crisp noisily as well.
It's funny, right?
I
hate it when people type on laptops.
And there was a woman sat in front of me, and she stood up and turned around and just stared at me like...
Hang on, Mike, I don't know if you're just saying that to make me feel better. Did you actually
on
mean
trains?
That? On trains.
I'm very different on trains. Like, if you enter
If you
my
see Cliff on a train,
headspace,
if you see Mike on a train, do not approach him. He's very different on trains.
if you enter my headspace in a train, I fucking hate you. Unless I'm very drunk and think there's a ghost sat next to you on an iPad.
I remember that. Yeah.
At which point, roles are reversed and you're trying to get away from me.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember one other thing that was up my backside, which was
this would be the fifth thing though. Just
I've just realised. I'm just starting to realise how angry I am. It was Mike and all that shiz about Star Wars a few weeks ago. I mean, that was outrageous.
Factually correct.
Outrageous.
I've now watched mini episodes or mini series of stuff. Yeah, first ones were shite.
That episode should have been called "May the Farce Be with You."
Mike
and a few episodes ago panned Star Wars. He watched them all back to back and announced that they're basically garbage.
utter dross.
Which offended a few people. I'm not a Star Wars fan, so
I'm a big fan.
I thought I was. Have you watched them recently, Cliff?
Oh yeah, I could watch them over and over and over. Honestly,
Cliff, is it true you've got a Princess Leia wig?
Yeah. You can see.
Yeah. I was going to say the headphones. He's halfway there.
Headphones. Yeah. That would be a great little present for you. I'm just saying. If Mrs. Cliff is listening. Hey, so what should we do first? Should we do the recap of Blind Drams pre-Christmas, or should we do the quiz I've come up for you guys?
Quiz
first. Okay, yep. Quiz first in Blind Drams. So fan quiz. I'm going to do fastest first. So you two have to choose the noise that you're going to make to claim it. So I feel like Mike, yours should be something related like chargers, and Cliff, you should probably make a trumpet noise or something. But
I feel like we should do this better, and we should have actual clicky buzzers.
We haven't got clicky buzzers. You're going to have to make the sound with your mouth. Okay, Cliff, make a trumpet noise for us so I understand what noise you're going to make. Okay, that's pretty good. And Mike,
hang on.
What?
I got an idea.
He's got an idea.
He's got an idea.
If it's going to take him this long, I should win.
It's okay because we can edit it down, Cliff. It's fine.
Tippy tappy.
Okay, you do tippy tappy. Yeah, that's really annoying, Mike. Okay, can you pause it though for a second?
Maybe.
Okay, so you do tippy tappy, and Cliff, you can do your trumpet noise. Now, Mike, just to check, can you do the tippy tappy noise quickly, or is it going to take you like ages to press it?
Ages is fine.
It could be ages.
You're going to lose. So Mike's guaranteed to lose this quiz. Okay, that's really annoying, Mike. Can you?
How do you stop it?
Oh my god! If you're doing this deliberately, I'm going to get PTSD. Turn it off. Oh my days.
I've worked it out. We're good.
Okay, good. Just don't do that again for that long, okay? Maximum 5 seconds of that typing noise. All right, so the fan quiz for episode 83 with... Stop the tapping. The fan quiz for episode 83 featuring Cliff Whiskey. Never meet your fans. All right, so it's the first person to trumpet in or make the keyboard noise. Here we go. What football team do Ozzy Osbourne and Prince William both support? That was Mike.
Birmingham, West Brom.
Aston Villa.
No, you don't get to guess twice. That's
Villa.
-1, Mike.
I was just geographical and narrowing down.
And that's very good, but you're a -1 because you guessed twice and Cliff's on 1, okay? So I'm just going to keep a quick note of that -1 and 1. I love a quiz. The power is incredible. So Mike, -1.
Fuck, I'm undefeated in quizzes.
Cliff,
I need to focus.
Not to, to concentrate. Okay. No one enjoys watching comic relief, but which Lenny Henry is synonymous with. Which club is he a fan of? Yes, go on, Cliff.
Wolverhampton Wanderers.
No.
Right.
Yes, Mike. You don't have to do that. You were going to get to guess anyway.
Birmingham.
No. Okay, so neither of you know. Do you want to guess? But if you guess one more time and get it wrong, you will get a -1.
Move on.
Nah.
What is it?
West Brom.
West Brom.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. It's so close.
So close. Okay. Which famous platform is renowned for prizing money from men in return for content or pictures? Yes, Mike.
Platform 9 3/4 for adult Harry Potter fans.
No, that's incorrect. Oh, so close.
Fuck.
Cliff pretending he doesn't know. Cliff, you know.
I don't know.
Cliff, you're on it. I bought your pictures.
Go
on in, Cliff.
I'm going to say Scotch Whisky Auctions.
No, it's OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, there you go. Well, I definitely spend...
Only Drams.
I spend more money on
Only
Scotch
Drams,
Whisky Auction.
yeah. Okay, there's no more than six.
Speaking of, I've got some purchases from last night. We'll catch up with that later.
We could just take a pause in the middle of the quiz.
Okay.
Just to be clear, it's 2-1 to Cliff.
So I picked up a 2013 10-year-old Bunnahabhain cast strength straight burbs cask peated for 40 notes.
Ooh, 40 sheets.
57%.
Very good.
And then random, I've seen it a few times, the Kincardine, which is a blend of Scotch whiskey and Indian whiskey from Adelphi, still available for £110 or something on Master of Malt.
Oh, hell,
45 quid.
Can I try that? Because I tried the one which was a blend.
No, you can get fucked. Yeah,
What's it called?
I tried the one which is a blend between the Shishibu.
Kincardine.
All right.
Did you try the Shishibu one crossed with Ardbeg?
What colour was that? Was it a black bottle with an old dude on the front?
I don't know, but it was incredible.
I think it was that, because that was the Japanese one, because that was cheap as well.
Right.
It's spelled Kincardine.
Oh, it's Kincardine.
Right. Yeah, Kincardine.
Kincardine. That's the name of a bridge.
Yeah.
And do you think, that obviously that's a bargain, but the first one, was that also a bargain?
40 quid for a cast strength Bunnahabhain 10-year-old?
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? But by the time you've got fees on it and stuff and postage, it's good value. I think
one I'm not sure about.
Oh, you bought more?
If I've even broke even. I probably haven't on this, but I wanted it. A Cadenhead's London Whisky Shop selection, which was a Balmenic 11-year-old.
Oh, you just wanted the Balmenic, didn't you? Because you love that.
Cast strength, 50 quid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so you got 3.
Yeah.
But you've broken your duck for the year. You've purchased whiskey.
Yep.
Cliff, have you purchased any whiskey since the 1st of January?
I got the bottle of Fingalasi.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. So I'm the only person that hasn't purchased any whiskey in 14 days.
And that was because I had a gift voucher from my sister-in-law. So there you go. So it wasn't technically my own money.
Okay. So you didn't actually spend any of your own money?
Well, 30 quid.
You did purchase whiskey.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So.
Right, here we go. Quiz back in. Okay. Which episode of Alan Partridge features a mental fan? Which features a mental fan who terrifies Alan? That's it. That's the question. Which episode of Alan Partridge features a mental fan who terrifies Alan?
What do you mean, like the number?
No, I mean the name of the episode.
Because that's the one.
Okay, and further clue, it's named after a very famous book. Yes, Mike.
I think the episode was called The Bible. No? Not the most famous book going, no?
No, that's a very famous book. Considerably famous. Yeah. You can buy one from Donald Trump if you want. Donnie Trump will sell you one. Cliff, any idea? No, that's too long. It is To Kill a Mocking Alan.
Kill a Mocking Alan.
It's good though, isn't it? Okay, next question. How do Dyson bladeless fans actually work? Mike's in. I was going to have to simplify it for you.
All right, okay.
Magic.
Magic. No. Okay, Cliff.
It's a fan.
Yes, they have actual fans in them. Very good. So they have the fans in the base. I never knew this, although obviously now I know this, I feel really stupid. So even though they show an area which has no fan,
it's just a fan in a hole.
It's a fan in the base. Mike's face. 2 bombshells in one episode. 1, caramel in the whiskey in a whiskey shop in Edinburgh.
I've got one in the friggin' house. And they're 2, a fortune.
If you open up the base, there's a fan in the base of it. So all they're doing is making that fan silent, and that then sucks the air up. It's all about the base. Sucks the air up and then squirts it out all over you.
Oh.
So currently it's 3-1 to Cliff, and Mike is on. He's about to lose his record. All right.
I think last question's worth. Is it the last question?
Yeah.
It's worth 3 points, isn't it?
It's not the last question yet.
Oh,
but I see what you're saying. You can determine how many points the last question is worth when we get to the last question. You could be 5-1 down at that point. Okay, what are the fans of Lady Gaga called? Yes, Mike.
Jane.
Mike, I don't think you want to win this quiz.
I'm telling you, there's a person called Jane who's a fan of Lady Gaga.
What are they? Sorry, what are they collectively? Okay, fair enough. +1, factually correct. What are they collectively called for a further point?
Goo Goos.
No.
Goo Goo Gaga? No.
I wouldn't even know where to start with that one, I'm afraid.
They're called monsters. Do either of you two know what Taylor Swift's fans are?
Swifties.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna give a point to Mike there straight off the bat. Question for Mike to see how much of a fan of American football he really is. Which American football team has the most official fans around the world? Yes, Mike.
Miami Dolphins.
No.
Patriots.
No.
Okay, no points. So I'm going to say Chicago Bears. No. Oh, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's Cowboys.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's Dallas Cowboys. No, you don't get that. And you guessed twice. You guessed twice, Mike, so you're a -1 for that.
Cut off.
In the Quizmaster is way more fun. Okay, whiskey one. Which whiskey has the most fans globally, as in it sells the most globally? Globally. Yes, Mike.
Macallan.
No. It's going to be a blend, isn't it, Cliff?
You said blend, right? I was actually going to say.
Yeah, I know.
No, Cliff, it's obviously going to be a blend.
It's obviously
I just bypass blends.
We're supposed to look. This is not supposed to be an educational podcast, but at the same time, we're supposed to have a modicum of whiskey knowledge, right? Just a tiny bit for all the.
Ask it again.
Famous grouse.
Right. No, it's not famous grouse. Okay,
It's the Glenlivet.
it's not. It's between
Glenfiddich.
Jim Beam and Johnny Walker.
Right, Jim Beam's a fucking bourbon.
Still a whiskey.
You wanker.
See, because I was actually going to say Jack Daniels.
Okay, there's two very deflated guys around. Final question for.
What's it worth?
It's very close between you now. It's 4-3. It's 3-2 to Cliff.
Let's just say it's worth 5 points.
2 points is enough. All that's required for the win here. And I'm just checking that I actually have a question. I have. You're never going to guess this, so we're going to do it a different way. I'm going to have to give you a choice of 3. Otherwise, you've got no chance. My Little Pony was one of the most successful toy lines throughout the 80s. When Hasbro rebooted the franchise in 2010 with the Friendship is Magic television series, it naturally attracted a new generation of young girls, the show's target demographic, as one would expect. However, the show also won over a legion of older male viewers who proudly called themselves something. So this fandom has gone on to inspire everything from memes. Hang on, do you actually know what it is, Mike? Or are you just going to randomly guess Jane again?
No, it was something like the Special Ponies or the Pink Ponies or something. It's adult men dressed as fucking horses.
Well, okay. Is it the A ponies? Is it the bronies? Or is it the cabronies?
I'm going to go
Mike.
bronies.
And Cliff?
I'll pick bronies. Why not?
Oh, I wish it was cabronies. It is, unfortunately, bronies.
Bronies.
Yes!
And I'll be having sleepless nights.
The Chargers lost, but Mike is back.
Mike is back.
Woo!
Undefeated. Cliff, if I ever want to feel good about myself, I'm just going to invite you to play sport with me. I feel like you'll just let me win.
Yeah, I'm not that competitive.
Not that competitive, are you? Let's just learn something about you today. If you're friends with Cliff, or you live in the vicinity of Cliff or within a radius, and you're feeling a bit down, just invite him to play squash or tennis or something.
Yeah, you can have it.
Let you win.
It's fine.
Let you win.
Yeah.
He'll let you win. Chess.
I'm just there for the banter.
Game of cards. He
And
doesn't
I will
mind.
find you and I will beat you.
Just storing it all up. Dearie me. So, Cliff, tell us a bit about the blind drams that you did before Christmas. What was it called?
Yeah, so it was as Christmassy as Die Hard, and I just thought it would be too obvious to do. Well, when I decided on the title, I thought, do I do Christmassy or not? Because I could just go in with a lot of sherry bombs, or I could do something else. And I hadn't made my mind up, and I thought, well, what is either Christmassy or not? And I thought, well, Die Hard's got to be the theme. So I came up with that as Christmassy as Die Hard, and that gave me a bit of latitude to kind of be Christmassy or not. And then the more I thought about it, I actually you may remember
did put
this.
some thought into it then.
You may remember that you guys had Balmain on, and you were talking about Ardnahoe and Ardbeg and all of that. And I think one of you said, it'd be good to do a tasting with all the whiskies with Ard in it, right? And I thought, and I sort of that sort of clicked when I came up with Die Hard. I thought, I've got that. This is the Ard tasting. So I decided I was just going to pick whiskies with ARD in it. So that's how I ended up with Ardlair, Ardnamurchan, I didn't do an Ardnarrow. I did Ardbeg.
What was that? It was good. And is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes or no?
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
And anyone that says otherwise needs a head looked at.
Definitely.
So I remember number 5 was the Ardbeg.
Yes.
I tried that again recently.
It was for discussion, the 8-year-old.
That was it, which was all right.
Yeah. And actually, I'd had a bottle before, and I'd never opened it, and I thought, what better way to do it than stick it on a blind drums, because it's for discussion, isn't it? So
for discussion. Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? So
Yeah.
if people listen to us afresh, this means that Cliff chose 5 whiskies, which 27 people had no idea what they are. Ordered 1 to 5. You said there was an Ardmore in there. There was an
Ardlair, which is an unpeated Ardmore.
Yes, that was it.
And there was a SNWS Tullibardine and a Sauterne cask.
Sauternes.
And the Ardmore. And then there was a
Sauterne around.
Sauterne around.
Sauternes.
Every time I try and pronounce it, it fucks up. Softness.
Yeah, and there was a Charlton Ardnaworkin, which was a bit disappointing, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I was really
I really wanted that one to work, because I've had a lot of good whiskies from Charlton, and I thought...
Cliff, we all wanted your whiskies to work.
Posted a picture of that on social media, and I was like, I haven't got the heart to tell them that was the worst dram.
You've just reminded me of what's been up my arse, truly, and I've forgotten I'd managed to get over it with all the joy that comes from the Christmas period. But I went into that Christmas period in a pretty bad mood because this blind drams, it's a big deal for me. I was looking to have a lovely Saturday in the run up to Christmas, and I was expecting some lovely sherried whiskies. And what I got was basically you'd picked 5, sometimes peated, which I don't mind. I like a bit of peat. Basically sort of summer, spring whiskies. You completely killed my Christmas vibes, man.
That's good.
Killed my vibes.
I love it. I liked it. And interestingly, I've been looking at the Ardbeg since, and they were going for 40 quid last night on
cheap,
auctions.
They did loads of it though, didn't they? I think they're still even making it. I mean,
3 of them went for 40 quid. And then there was like another 5 that went for 45 quid or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's out there. It's out there, and it's one to pick up.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was the retail on it originally?
55, 55. 60, maybe.
55 quid. 55-ish quid, yeah.
55, yeah, okay, yeah.
What was your favourite one then?
From the tasting, I really liked the Ardfroig. It was the Ardmore, which had been finished in a Lafroig cask. That was the Brave New Spirits bottle.
Well, they are quality, aren't they? Brave
I thought it was excellent. Really, really enjoyed it. And actually, 2024. When I look at some of the best drams that I tried in 2024, it was Brave New Spirits. They did some really good. We had a Linkwood on one of the blind drams. We had a
the Linkwood was amazing.
Yeah, we had that. The Tandu was very good. I tried that at Glasgow. That was excellent as well. So they've had some really good bottles this year. So that was that felt like a safe bet, and I think it paid off.
They're always got a big heavy hitter in the indie world. They're rare you're going to get a shit.
Yeah.
DLS.
Having tried a bunch of them, I would say that they've got an ability to pick a good cask and then finish it well or whatever they're doing, or full maturation. They seem to, someone's got a good nose and palate on them. Let's say that, right? Yep. Okay, and they know what people like. They're producing whiskies that people like, rather than going a bit too bonkers.
You don't have an excellent label and a really shit whiskey, do you? And you've got to back it up, haven't you? I think if you're gonna be bold like that. So I think they do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where it scored overall in the grand scheme of blind drams, but it was
to find out.
It was fun just to have a wee chat about Die Hard, wasn't it? So Cliff, what 3 whiskies then would you put behind a pub? So you go into a pub, not one of your Edinburgh fancy pubs or your fancy Glasgow pubs, not Le Pot Still or the Bon Accord. It's a rubbish pub in the middle of nowhere. You've travelled to Wolverhampton or something, right? You're a bit scared. You're like, why am I in Wolverhampton? You walk into a pub, you fancy a dram. They don't have anything. What would you advise them to put behind the bar?
Well, I mean, so actually, my local in the village where I live they've got like about 3 or 4 whiskies in there, and I just think for Scotland it's so disappointing what they've got in there. It's like they've got.
So you want to take this opportunity to speak directly to them.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not just let down. The whole of Scotland.
They're letting the whole of Scotland down.
And don't get me wrong, it's better than some pubs that I've been to in England, for example. But they've got a Dalwhinnie.
Cliff, you told me you were 51% English. I'm not getting that vibe from you.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm getting a 51% Scottish vibe from you.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so they've got like a one, that Dalwhinnie Winters, whatever it's called.
Winter's Gold.
Winter's Gold. They've got a Glenfiddich in there. So they've got a couple of wee bits in there. But I think for me, I think there's two for me which are just dead easy, because I generally have them myself open because I just think it was so solid. And I think people have said this before, but an Ardbeg 10 for me is very hard to beat, and I'm a huge fan of Ardbeg 10. I might challenge myself and say I'd put a Noogie in there, but it would either be a 10 or a Noogie.
That's fair enough.
Well, I've got to go for the 10 because one of the other ones I think compensates a little for the Noogie. And then the other one that I would put in, again, it's just a slam dunk for me, is a Glencadam 10. I just think it's such an approachable, easy dram. It's malty vanilla cereals, a little bit of spice. It's just lovely, and it's such a sippable dram. And I think if you want to get people into trying 2 different whiskies that sort of speak to the whole range, then you've got a Glencadam 10 and an Ardbeg 10, and that's a a pretty good start. And then the third one becomes a bit more difficult because you want to get a bit of flavour in there and a bit of, something a wee bit interesting. And I struggled with this, and I was sort of reflecting a wee bit on some drams that I had, I guess over the course of the last year or so. And there's probably three that came to mind. One was there was a Milton Duff private cellar Oloroso cask. It was a 10-year-old. It was in a square bottle that I got.
It's from the private
and it was
cellar.
just so good. One of those, flat coke and prunes type drams.
Flat coke and prunes.
Yeah, and a bit of bit of pepper and stuff.
Listen, when I come back in, I've had a few drinks. I raid the fridge in the cupboard for some flat coke and prunes.
And the other one that I tried recently was a Linkwood and a port cask, and it was a Murray McDavid bottle.
Oh, you can't go wrong with a port cask. But what type of port cask was it?
It was
Tawny white port.
A red one.
Tawny, I've got it up there. No, it was the Murca port or something. MURCA, I'm not sure. It's a Tawny port. It's a Tawny port. And it's Murca.
The Murca world of Tawny port.
Yeah, MURCA.
An American Tawny port.
I don't know what it is. Anyway.
I don't think I've tried an American Tawny port. You piqued my interest.
I don't think Cliff has.
No, it's not American. It's Murca.
America.
Murca. I don't know how you.
It's Murca.
MURC. It's got the C with a little 5 on the bottom of it. I don't know what.
Okay,
I don't know how you
stick
say
by the Murca
Can
world.
You two
of
smell
port.
toast?
Listen, I've had 3 strokes today, so.
But I bet you have.
This will be the 4th.
Yeah.
Had the house to yourself, did you?
The one that I settled on for the third dram was we had a 16-year-old Ben Rennis at one of the blind tastings. It was called Chocolate Covered Cherry Cask, and it was beautiful. It was like so rich and fruity, apple pies, and
I reckon that's going to be about 56%.
Yeah, and it was just, I think it was Patrick that picked it, and it was, but it was beautiful, and I think something like that's really, rich and fruity and deep. And
so you're going to go for chicken dinner, Ben Renner's.
Yeah, definitely. So that's me. Nice. So a Glencairn 10, an Ardbeg 10, and probably that, I think that Ben Rennis was a real highlight for me of the last year, and
nice.
I could suck that all day long.
It's if only you put something like that Ben Renner's into your
well, you would have done significantly better, because I've just done a quick calculation, Cliff, and it looks like you came 25th.
Hey!
It's only been 26.
I told you I wasn't competitive.
Hey, that's mid-pack.
Is
that's
that
not bad.
If you didn't have that dog shit Ardnamurcan from Chorlton, I reckon you'd have been
top
very
20.
close to the top.
That sunk my boat, didn't it?
I love the theme in anyway. It's interesting because the whiskies that you said that you'd like to include to put at the pub, the one out there, one other than the Glencairn 10, Ardbeg 10, it would be something which is quite sweet, rich, deep, right? Yeah. Something that, that was completely absent. All I'm saying is, where was it? I'll let it go, Cliff. Where was it? It's days before Christmas, right? So, yeah. Anyway, we're past Christmas now. It is what it is. Next year. So, it's that time of the day. So, Mike, would you like to explain Pudding Island Drams to our listeners?
I would indeed. I'll aim it directly to you, Cliff. So, you are being transported away to an island location of your dreams. It doesn't necessarily need to be anywhere sunny. It could be out in the Scottish wilderness, in the sideways hail. All hell has broken loose. However, the choice is entirely up to you. What we would like to know, when you are stranded on this island, you have the option of taking with you 1 bottle of whiskey, 1 dessert, and then 1 album.
Okay.
When you're coming back, you're going to be picked up by whoever you want in the world, alive or dead, and you get to choose the mode of transport. So, firstly, island, talk to me. Where are we?
So I'd take a Scottish suntan, right? I ain't going anywhere hot. I go from blue to light blue to white to, and then eventually go red. So
yeah,
I'm going nowhere hot. There's no point. I wouldn't enjoy it.
I like my Cliff I like my steak. Blah.
Exactly, blue.
Take it off.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's an island. I'm going to stay. I'm going to be patriotic, and I'm going to pick a nice, good old Scottish island, somewhere a bit like Arran or Skye, which is sort of like Scotland in miniature. A bit of
snow-tipped peaks which you can hang off like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger.
And you can say, do you know what? I've got nothing to moan about. I'm really happy. But then over the course of the day, as you mooch around the island with your on your own. You can say to the animals that are around, you can say, actually, I can't believe that. That's the 5th rant I've had today.
5th rant I've had today, yeah.
I didn't realise how much I had on my chest.
I could get a seagull to stand on my head. I could do that.
Yes,
as well.
you could, yeah.
What do you call a guy with a seagull on his
head?
head?
Scottish
Cliff,
island.
we know, yeah, Cliff, yeah.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
It would be great, but if your second name was Doug, that would be truly magnificent. If you were like Cliff Doug.
Yeah.
Because that's what you call a man with a spade on
I
his
had
head.
an uncle Doug.
There you go.
So there you go.
You could have told all the jokes at the...
Was he an a-hole?
I just he was a lovely chap.
a-hole, come on.
Yeah.
I heard he had humour in spades, Cliff. There you go. Right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Right. Scottish island, shit weather.
Yeah.
Let's go for a change. Dessert first. What are you going to be treating yourself to?
Everyone picks sticky toffee pudding, and I'm not going to pick
only
sticky
the
toffee pudding.
weirdos.
Would you pick that
people.
if nobody else had said it?
No, but it would be close. It would be a close call. But I would go for a pecan pie.
Oh, I love a bit of pecan pie. But just on its own, like dry.
No, I'd take that with a bit of vanilla ice cream. I think that'd be, it need to be slightly warm. It needs to be just,
warmed up.
It's your dream, mate. You can have it how you want.
Yeah. So I think a little warm slice of pecan pie with a bit of really good quality vanilla.
If I had a pecan slice,
Yeah.
Sainsbury's pecan slices are 400. Well, I say 400. I'm being factually incorrect. They're 398 calories. You do what you want with the spare 2 calories. So just a quarter of one is 100 cals. Like you have to walk a mile to get rid of a quarter of a pecan slice.
Yeah, but you got 2,500 to play with a day.
And I'm stuck on an island.
So just have 6 pecan slices and nothing else.
Done.
It's got protein in it.
Yeah, it has.
It's
It's
got
actually
pecans on top. Yeah.
pretty good snack.
I think that's a really good choice. Pecan's one of my favourite nuts. If you had to choose a top 3 nuts, what would you go for?
Top 3 nuts.
Top 3 nuts. If you have to think about it, you're not a nut fan. Are you a fan of nuts or not, Cliff?
No,
Left, right, and P.
Yeah, left, right, and P.
I could tell you straight away. Like, there's no one's picking Brazil nuts in their top 3. It's your classic.
Yeah,
it's
no.
I
peanut.
like a Brazil nut. Solid.
It'd be in your
Massive.
top 3, would it though?
Yeah. Maybe first.
No, I don't believe that.
No.
I don't believe that at all.
So I would. So I'm going to say pecan nuts, pistachio nuts, and cashew nuts.
The poshest of nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Macadamia, fuck off. Macadamia's the
Macadamia.
poshest, hands down.
Hands down.
They're my
Oh
favourite.
god, pistachios. The pistachios should be illegal. They're too good. All right, very nice. So you can have a slice of pecan pie.
Yeah, that'd be me.
Good. And whilst you're relaxing, eating your pecan pie, what is going to be blasting in your ears?
Right, man. See that. So this is probably the hardest question I could take all night.
I thought it might be for you.
And but because I've got such a, I like loads of music. I'm really a big fan. And actually, so full disclosure, my favorite album of all time is Slayer's Rain and Blood, and it is like what? It's something like, I can't remember, 24 minutes, some 30 minutes of madness. And it was one of those when I was younger, I kind of got into a lot of the metal bands and stuff, but then when I heard that, it was like, it just changed everything for me. So I think as my favorite record, it would be that. I wouldn't take it to the island because it's like not very long and it's pretty full on and intense, and I'm not sure I could cope with
Doesn't
that
quite
for
go
2
with a
weeks.
pecan pie.
No, it's not, and it's certainly not one that you'd listen to end to
But
end
Cliff,
over
let's
and
say
over
whilst
again
you were
for-
out there, you got attacked by a bear
Oh, yeah,
or an
yeah.
angry antelope or something.
Beaver, kick it in the fucking face.
Yeah.
But I've been eating pecan nuts all day. I'll be like,
No,
I'm
but
ready
let's
for
just
them.
let's just imagine for a second. Okay, you've fallen off. Cliff has fallen off a cliff, right?
Yeah,
And you're lying on the bottom of the cliff, and you go, God, I
Yeah.
wish I brought Slayer, Rain in Blood, along with me.
Yeah.
You don't even know what his selection is yet. It
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be equally
I'm not
I'm just trying
taking
to put a
that.
bit of pressure on him, Mike, just so he just regrets bypassing his favorite album ever.
So I narrowed it down to 2 records actually that I would take because I just think they're so interesting and they've got so much going on in them. And the first one was Thin Lizzy's Live and Dangerous.
Yeah, great album.
It's a double album. It's a live album. It's got everything on it. It's got rock. It's got ballads. It's got some really beautiful bluesy songs. There's a bit of jazz in there. It's so interesting. And
Sounds like a compilation to me.
it's well, technically, You could say that, but it's a live concert.
It's
right?
a compilation
It's the same
from
band.
that band and some other songs that they played. Yeah.
So it's going to be between that and the second one.
You haven't decided yet. Is that what you're saying?
No, I have decided, but I just want to lay out my choice because the second record, which might surprise you a little, is "Searching for the Young Soul Rebels" by Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Right.
And that album is just brilliant. I mean, it's like they're really young in it. It's before they had the big hits, and it's just like full of energy. It's raw. It's got there's big brass sections in it, and it's just like. And then you've got what's his name, Kevin Rowland, with that mad voice. It is just ridiculous, that record, and the first couple of songs on it are just knockout. But I am going to pick Thin Lizzy. I think I would have to go.
You
with
did.
that.
You swung back. Did you already know that, or did you just Were you trying to harpoon?
No,
us?
I was buying myself some time, but I'm gonna pick.
Is there any other albums you want to name that you've ever listened to, just to make sure you've covered them off?
Yeah, there was one. I think I've listened to at least 3 more albums.
At least 3 more albums. I know it's really difficult for you because you're super passionate about music.
Oh yeah. But it's going to be. I'm going to go for Live and Dangerous with Thin Lizzy, and there's
great choice.
There's a song on there called "Don't Believe a Word," and it's one of my favourite songs. It's just the way the song hangs together. It's just. It's beautiful. Yeah. Great.
Don't Believe a Word is getting added to the Pudding Island Drams playlist as we speak. So obviously you're on this island, you're eating pecan pie, you're listening to Thin Lizzy. What dram are you going to be supping along with that record?
Yeah,
LP?
so it's Ardbeg for me all the way, and I would be going for the Uigeadail. I'd be going for the Uigeadail.
Why?
I just love it. It's just such an amazing. I mean, it's got everything that an Ardbeg's got, and it's just got that lovely sherry in it, and it's just great. And I think also interestingly at the Whiskey Fringe Festival in Edinburgh this year, Ardbeg had a stand, and they had a bottle under the counter, which was a very, very old Oogie. It was like 26 years or something stupid like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a stupid age, but it was essentially the same recipe as an Oogie, and it was just beautiful. But you know what? The one you get in the supermarket wouldn't let you down either. So that's
do you know what? That's one of my first malts where I started happily paying a little bit more for whiskey, and you sort of breach that 60 to 70 pound mark, and you're like, I can't believe I'm spending this much money on a bottle of whiskey. You look now and it represents good value. I know there's no age statement on the stuff, but it's just so good. Consistent.
I almost don't buy it sometimes because it shows up other whiskies in the cupboard. So when I finish, because I buy a bottle and I finish it pretty quick. I'm being honest now. I buy a bottle and I finish it pretty quickly, and then I reach for some single cask stuff that I've got peated, which is not as good, that I've paid an extra 20 quid for, and I'm like, and then I don't buy the Oogie because then it reminds me of how it's just a beautifully complete whiskey. And I know people say it's not as good now as it used to be, yada yada yada, but it's probably one of the best, isn't it? Really, I'm
just like thinking what a lineup you could have with the Uigeadail, the Ardnahoe Society, and the James E.
Oh my god, the finesse!
What perfect. A Pete's treat!
That would be great, wouldn't it? If only somebody had a blind drams coming up. Although, to be fair,
Brian.
No, we're after Brian. Honest to Malt. Honest to Malt presents. So, what tasting notes do you love about the Uigeadail, then, particularly, Cliff? Because it's obviously one of your favourite whiskeys. And have you got a bottle open at the moment?
I haven't got one open at the moment.
Oh, does he even mean it?
Yeah, does he even mean it? I'm just trying to think, and it's actually been a wee while since I've opened it.
And that's a really interesting point, though, because you're saying it's such a good whiskey. You could have one whiskey. This is what you're going to choose out of everything available to you, but there's something stopping you buying it.
What is it?
Even though it's outstanding.
Oh, no, I've got one. I've got one up in the loft. I just haven't got it open.
Oh, right. Okay. You've got one in stock.
It's just the practical nature of how, I mean, like yourself, I've probably got 20 bottles open at the moment, and I'm like, and it's just me that drinks it now. So
it's like it's what Compass Box said, wasn't it? Where they said people moaned when we changed the core sort of structure, but no one was buying it. And it's not that people didn't like it; they loved it, but they just bypassed it to get other things. And I think that I haven't bought a bottle of Oogie for maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
But I love it.
My last one was about a year ago. I probably have about one a year-ish. So, but it's better than the majority of peated whiskies that I get at that price point, I would say. Because it's 55 quid, isn't it? Maybe 60 quid.
Yeah.
And, let's say, for example, that 50% of whiskies that I buy in that kind of are better and 50% are worse. Oogie would be the safer bet, wouldn't it?
Probably, I think you're probably getting near 80 quid, I think, for a bottle of Oogie.
80 quid?
I think
no, I'm looking now. House and Malt, 55 quid.
Really? Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whiskey World, 57.90. So
I don't think they get away with.
I
don't think they get away with charging more than 70 quid for it, because there's just so much choice now. Especially as the prices in whiskey are definitely coming down.
Master of Malt, £67.95.
They'll be waiting for it.
See, I would have thought. I was kind of thinking, 70 then maybe. But you've got that. Obviously, you've got that classic sort of Ardbeg profile where you've got the smoke and the peat and the lime, and there's all of that stuff going on. One of the best tasting notes I ever got for an Ardbeg 10 was tomato stalks. And actually, if you get an Ardbeg 10 and get in there, it's those green tomato stalks are definitely going on in there. But then the Oogie's obviously got that real richness to it as well. And, you've got all that usual Coca-Cola and prunes and all that in the mix as well. It's great.
House of Malt have got the Ardbeg Corrivecken as well for $69.90 at the moment, which is a tenner off. Not as good a purchasing value, but you pick up those two bottles and you have got completely different tasting notes, or different flavours, two absolutely outstanding whiskies. So as much as people rip Ardbeg, they do know what they're doing. They're just arseholes with fucking 17-year-old bases at 40%.
The issue with Uigeadail probably is it's hard for people to pronounce until they know how to pronounce it. But this is what Master of Malt says in terms of tasting notes. They say nose, peat, little flourishes of dark sugar, freshly ground espresso beans, cereal notes, and some tar. Sophisticated tar, they say. Sophisticated tar.
Sophisticated tar.
I'm not drinking any Simpleton tar. I want sophisticated tar. They say palate. They say led by sweet, ripe fruit and black forest honey. A good helping of malt. The throne, then usurped by then usurped by a powerful peat and smoky barley. Finish very long. Caramel. Not poured into it from a large plastic bottle in a whiskey shop in Edinburgh, but actually just made through the spirit and casks. And malt weave their way through the peat, smoke, and dark sugar, and just a hint of fresh espresso coffee. So basically, you're getting coffee notes, which is probably why I like it so much. You get coffee notes,
House of Malt
honey,
went in with
dark fruits, peat,
palate, treacle espresso, dark chocolate. Done.
That's it. Done.
Have it.
Have it.
Which sums it up perfectly.
Like that advert. What was the advert when they were playing Keepy Up? And then was that a beer advert?
Peter Kay.
Peter Kay.
It was Boddington.
Boddington's the best adverts. Have it. It just kicks it. Just boots it. Have it.
Have it.
Right, Ireland. How would you be getting home? Mode of transport and who's picking you up?
I would run the risk of getting emotional on this one, so I need to be a wee bit careful. Yeah. So obviously, the obvious choices would be my parents because they're not around anymore.
Yeah.
And that would be nice. But I also wouldn't pick them because I don't want to say goodbye again.
That is lovely though. Right? That's the nicest thing I've heard.
And plus, can either of them drive a speedboat?
No, because they could never drive a speedboat. So I wouldn't do that. But actually, but a very similar one. And I wouldn't say too much about it, but I had a pal at uni who's no longer with us, Matthew, and I think I would pick him because what happened to Matthew was we graduated, we started working together, both worked for the same company for a while, and then we all kind of went our own ways as you do, and then you start to have kids and all that sort of stuff. And he got ill and he passed away, and I didn't really know how ill he was really. So I'd like to see him, and I'd get him to take me home.
Should we have a cheers to Matthew then?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So cheers to Matthew.
Cheers to Matthew.
Do you want to say his full name, or do you want to just keep it to a single?
Matthew Haysom. He was a really cool pal, and he was a Hereford United supporter. So he took me to many games at Edgar Street in Hereford over the years when we worked together in Liverpool. I've never forgiven him for that.
And what mode of transport are you chaps taking?
So I'm not big on. Some people love their cars and all that sort of stuff, so I don't know. So actually, I did think about how could Matthew take me home?
You've got no problem with alleviating someone of a car to the car that they love. You're a car thief, not a car. Not a love of cars.
I decided on a really old school racing green Mini.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Right? How's it going to get across the water, Cliff?
Yeah, well, that's Matthew's problem. He's driving, right? And also I picked that because he was really, really tall, and I think it would be really funny seeing him driving a little green Mini.
It is funny seeing very tall people in small cars. That's true.
So that's what I would do. I would challenge Matthew to get me home and across the sea.
Oh my days! You remind me in the car, in the absolute beast of a car that we have currently. My wife must have kept. You know when you just keep moving the seat up gradually, and every time I get in, I go, oh, I've got my space. My knees are touching the steering wheel because it's like not a great car. It's actually fairly difficult to adjust the seat. Like so, I just left it. The other day, I really lost my temper, and I was like, I don't care. I'm going to figure out how to adjust this seat again. And I managed to get it back down to a normal height, not sunken in, you know, like a boy racer, just a normal height. Not where somebody as short as me, Mike, is basically their head is almost touching the top of the car, and my knees are like tucked up against the steering wheel. I don't know what's happened.
What I will say is your missus clearly knows how to set up a car because that's the best way to drive because you've got an elevated vision. You can see more. Yes.
We've already got an elevated vision. It's one of those rubbish SUVs.
It's a Qashqai. That is not an SUV.
Well, I mean, it's like
I've got a sports utility vehicle. What is it? A Nissan Qashqai.
It's like a mini version. It's not a saloon. I mean, I don't know what you call it. This lads, this Milton Duff Ocklosson 10-year-old Oloroso finish. Can you remember who this is from, Mike? He gave us the samples at Glasgow. I think he was a nice guy. Anyway, very fruity. He hasn't put the name of his brand on or anything like that. So
I was busy working, remember, while you were fucking floating about.
Yeah, I didn't lift a finger, Mike. I mean, really, this is a really good whiskey.
If I can mediate, I did come and visit the stand and I can testify, Mike, that you were running about like a blue arse fly and Duncan was socialising.
Thanks for that, Cliff.
Vindicated, I am selfish.
You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it to Ben's record of 3 episodes featured in. Mike didn't even move from one spot. He was just planted to the spot. Go rum. Like
red rum.
Well, that was all good.
Now, Cliff, one thing I noted about you, I wanted to ask, because I think some other people do this, is serious question. You keep like a whiskey diary type thing, don't you? You write all your tasting notes in a book.
Not all of them. I mean, but I do quite a lot of them. I'll take. I mean, so the ones I'm having tonight, I'm not taking notes on notes. But I mean, if I'm just sitting in the house having a drama, I'll just scribble down some notes, and I'll quite often just stick them on the socials. And
but I like what you do. That's what I mean. I like that your little short notes type way of.
It's like no more than 20, 30 words for the whole thing.
Yeah. But how many have you written notes about? Do you know? Do you keep a count or?
I think it's about 600 and something. I've been keeping Brian's spreadsheet as well.
Oh, so
and last year I made a big effort just to go back through all the socials and kind of capture what I could really. So I'm kind of up to about 1,100, and I've taken notes for about half of it.
Right.
But you know, there'll be lots on there that I just won't have. You know, I just won't have captured, you know.
Yeah.
There's something appeals to me about just keeping a bit of a log of it all, but it's not really,
I like it. I wish I had the patience to do it. I wish I had the patience to do it.
He's a secret spreadsheet lover.
Yeah.
Not the spreadsheet. I wish I had the patience to write notes down in a book like you do. Or I've seen people that take the label off the bottom, stick it in a book. I wish I had the...
You can't even be asked to do tasting notes for the whole of Blind Drams. You give up after like Dram 3.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then... I mean, by Dram 3, I'm into party mode.
Yeah,
I don't care anymore. Then, especially by Dram 4, I'm into party mode. I'm just Saturday night, just trying to have fun.
You're Wigfield.
So I've got another one here for the book. I would write notes on it, but it's another Whiskey Pioneer, and it's Mast House Copper Rivet Distillery, Kent. So down your way. It's a grain whiskey, 42%, no age statement, ex bourbon. So there you go.
Wow.
I think I've got their inaugural bottle in somewhere, tucked away. Now worthless because my mother-in-law, when she gave it to me, opened it to see what it smelled like.
I mean, it's worthless anyway, but I mean, now it's doubly worthless. So the other thing we're going to ask you about, Cliff, because you're the first person we've had on the podcast who really takes running seriously. The other person that we could have on, I love to mention, is Andrew Pad Thai Whiskey.
Yeah.
If he was to come on, he also takes running seriously, but he hasn't come on.
And he's fat. He'll be much faster than me.
Will he?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Oh,
Scouser who's used to running from the police.
Yeah, I'm getting slower. Definitely getting slower.
All right, but you do a lot of running. I'm always blown away. I see you on the socials all the time, running, posting your pictures, always in your funky running gear and stuff. And you ran every day in December, I think.
Yeah, I did the every day in December. It's a thing called the Markathon. It's a thing it started about I think the thing started about 10 years ago, and there was a Scottish guy, funnily enough, an Italian Scot called Marco.
Standard.
And he did this thing, and his wife thought it was pretty cool, and she named it Markathon, and then it became a sort of movement. And I've done it maybe 5 or 6 times now, where you basically do 5K every day in December. And I find it a really good way to get through the month, to be honest, because there's so much going on, you know.
You just love running, don't you? Like
I love being outside, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so are you going to do the Dramathon, which is coming up? Which is that you can do like a half marathon or a whole marathon or something like that?
Yeah. So the Dramathon is there's 4 events. There's a full marathon. There's a full marathon relay, which is a team of 4 doing the marathon.
Ooh, have you ever done that?
No, I've just done the marathon, and then there's a half marathon, and there is a 10K. And
where does it start from? Where does it go to?
It's an amazing route. So it starts at Glenfarclas distillery, just outside Aberlour, and you follow Ben Rinnes, the mountain at the back, and you basically follow, and it's a kind of mixture of road and trail. And it takes you down. I've kind of written it all down, right? You've got Glenfarclas.
Yeah, talk us through it.
So you start at Glenfarclas, you go round.
You have done it, right?
I've done it 3 times.
There you go.
So
if you have to refer to notes, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you've lived it. Yeah.
So you come round. You then go down by Ballindalach.
Yeah.
And then you go round. There's a big castle there at Ballindalach. You go up to Craigmore, and then you go up to the top of the hill at Tandu. No, you go to Tandu. You go to Tandu.
Oh, so the little black hill.
Yeah. And then you go up the hill to Cardew.
Yeah.
And then you come back down to Dalmunna. And then you basically follow the river all the way up to Balvenie, and you finish.
It sounds incredible.
Glenfiddich, and you pass all the distilleries, so it's really a really cool route. You follow the Spey River for a big chunk of the route as well. So there's a beautiful trail. It's an old, it's called the Speyside Way. So it was an old railway line that used to connect all of the distilleries. So you follow the Speyside Way. You've got the river beside you pretty much all the way. And it is just the most, and you do it in October as well, right? So the trees are all beautiful colour. I mean, it's a magnificent event. It's just great.
How hilly is it? What are we talking about? Obviously,
it's pretty hilly.
In sort of relatively flat areas as Southerners, or a Welsh person and a Southerner, South Wellian and a South Englander. If you hadn't really run on hills, would you be in for a shock?
Probably, yeah. But I mean, it's not. But it's not like. I mean, it's not like you're going up Everest, right? I mean, it's like.
Right. Okay.
So you start if you know Glenfarclas, that's kind of up on a hill anyway, and you've got the kind of the mountain at the back, and you kind of follow the foothills of that. So that's a bit sort of undulating, and then you drop down onto the Speyside Way, and that's reasonably flat. There's a couple of bits you go across a golf course, which is really hilly, and then when you go up to Cardew, that's if you know Cardew, that's right up at the top of the hill. There's a really good story about Cardew. Actually, they've got a flag up there, and on the label of Cardew it's a woman with a flag.
Yeah.
And the story goes that's the highest point in the region, and goes that whenever the excise man came to town, she'd run the flag up the pole, and everybody would be like.
Nice.
And everybody would be hiding all the stock behind the cows and the sheep and all that sort of stuff. And but then towards the end, again, when you follow the river, it's reasonably flat. But then as you come out of Craigellachie and you climb up towards Balvenie and Glenfiddich, that's a really long and steady climb. It's not steep, but it just goes on and on and on and on. So that's pretty hard. At the end of the race, you're just like, you're done, and you've got a bit of a climb into the end. And
you did the full marathon 3 times?
Yeah, I've done the half once, and I did the full marathon 3 times. And
wow. So how many marathons have you run then?
14 or 15. Yeah. All in the UK, pretty much. Well, all in the UK.
UK.
Yeah. So I'm doing Paris. I've signed up for Paris in April.
Paris? Oh, because you speak French now, don't you?
Je parle un peu, oui. Je parle des
Michel Henry, le pot style.
Oui. Je connais le mot pour sauter.
Je suis jambon, oui.
You're a fascinating guy. I love it.
But it's great, but the best thing about the Dramathon is the goodie bag at the end. So you get a T-shirt.
Is there anyone that does the drams as they go round?
No. Well, but not officially. But
that's
yeah,
the next
you get a
challenge,
T-shirt.
Cliffy.
What are we talking about in time here to run this marathon?
So my best marathon times 3:58, and that was a long time ago. I've not done that for a long time. The last time I did the Dramathon, I was just over 5 hours, and I was beat. I was absolutely spent. So it's just, but that's a marathon, right? You don't know how you're going to be on the day. You just get out there, and sometimes it just works, and sometimes you get halfway around and you think,
My mum used to run marathons. She did. Her fastest time was 3:57.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's great.
What's a 3:57?
What is it?
It's probably like 5 hours or something.
Yeah.
I just wanted her to be a minute faster than you.
Yeah,
it's fine.
No, it's all right. No, it's okay.
She didn't do it in a race. She just used to run to Wales and be like, "Fuck you," and then turn around and run back.
Actually, the family thing is funny because my dad and I have never done a marathon, but my mum and sister have. It's like, so the ladies in the family have both done marathons, one or more, and the men.
Yeah,
I've done a half. That is the absolute limit for my knees.
Yeah,
not in a million years could I do a full.
Got to be. It's one of those things. Not everyone's designed to run that far.
Nope.
Some people are designed to to tell the people to run.
Some people are designed to push the cart, Duncan, and others are designed to sit on it. Yeah,
exactly. I know the Roman emperors were sitting at the back whilst other people pulled them along. They weren't doing the running, Cliff, right? But it sounds great. It sounds really good.
The goodie bag is 8 drams at the end of it, so you get most of the distilleries that I mentioned. They sponsor the event, and in the goodie bag you get a little mini of each of the drams that you've gone past. And you get a medal that's made from a stave from a barrel, so it's a really cool. That's
really nice. I'm not going to lie to you though, Cliff. I'd probably want like a doner kebab at the end of that.
That
effort.
Yeah. Well, there's not.
I do a 10k. I could probably knock a 10k out easily tomorrow. Half is now beyond any capability.
10k is just 2 drams though.
Yeah, I'll take my own. It's fine.
Maybe we could do the relay, the marathon done in 4.
That's not bad actually. When you said that, I was like, that's a 10k each basically.
I want a baton though. Do you get a baton? If I don't get a baton, I'll be really disappointed.
You don't get a baton.
You have to run with a bottle.
Mike, we'll take our own baton.
A couple of years ago I did it, and there was some French guys there, and they were the stripy tops and the onions and the berries and all that, everything, right? And they had a baguette with them as a baton.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right, that's it. We'll do it at the marathon. We have to take a microphone with a box on the end with Honest or Malt on it, so it looks like a reporter's microphone, and that is the baton. And you can go around going, "Fuck me, I'm dying."
Live recording from the Dramathon.
I think the relay is the best deal as well, because I think each runner gets 3 drams. So that's so across 4 runners, that's 12. Whereas if you do it yourself, you get 8. So I think it's.
I'm not sure I'm too fussed about the drams. I'm more after the sites and the team nature of it. Like a relay over a marathon. What is that then? It's going to be 6.5 miles per person. That's doable.
Yeah.
Duncan. It hasn't opened yet. The Wee Dram is not open for entry, so
we can still do
10k, 36 quid. Let me see if the relay one is.
Cliff, any tips for which leg I should take? The flattest of the legs.
Second and third legs. Probably the second leg.
Don't take the last leg, is what you're saying. Is that hard?
That's the glory leg.
Send me with no back and knees up the trails. Is it nice?
You get the finish.
If you run the first leg, you can then get in a car and drive to the finish, and then you can just sit there and have a dram.
Yeah. The guys that organised it, they've got a pretty good story to tell as well. They're not actually from that area, but they both live and work in France. I think they were inspired by the Marathon de Medoc, which is a wine marathon, and the Marathon de Medoc is, I think, like every 5k you have a glass of wine, literally, and it's a drinking marathon. But they were sort of inspired by that and that idea about the whiskey culture in Scotland and the Speyside Way, and they basically just got in and they spoke to the distilleries, and it's amazing how quickly it all sort of came together, and clearly the distilleries didn't want people drinking on the way around. I mean, that wasn't going to work, right? And it's not good for their brand or the image of the industry and all that. But they've got so much support and sponsorship, and the atmosphere is amazing. And when you go up there for the weekend, everybody's
do they hand out water? Do they hand out water?
Yeah, just like every marathon, there's a couple of there's food stations, they've got Jaffa cakes and jelly babies and all the usual stuff, It's great. It's really, really good. A great event, really good atmosphere. Quite an international crowd as well. There's a lot of Americans and French there. There's a team that come over from one of the Japanese distilleries as well, and they run as a relay team. So it's really cool. It's such a good event.
So Cliff, is there anything you would change in the world of whiskey? Last question to you today, so you can complete the podcast.
I'm going to go back to what I said at the start. Just all this business of people in shops trying to swindle you.
So what you're saying is buy on the internet instead. That's what
buy it. No, do you know, I'm a big fan of buying local and buying in your shop. I mean, absolutely. But you know, when you go into some of these big tourist places, I mean, and particularly in Edinburgh, you've got people that just want to spend a dime from you, and it just really boils my piss.
And there's always some prick in the background
tapping
away.
Tapping away.
So that would be it. I would get, you know, or do you know what? Even if you could just arrange like a sort of a happy hour where you can go in and nobody speaks to you, you know?
Yeah, like you're allowed to go into the shop. You can just
have a look.
But they don't understand how nice it is to just go in and just browse the shelves.
Yeah.
And you might find something you want to buy, but you don't want to be asked a lot of questions.
Yeah.
They're actually good at that whiskey exchange. They leave you alone, really. You go in, they say, you know, do you want a hand?
And that's okay. Cool. That's absolutely fine. But it's when they persist and persist and persist.
No, you want to have a lovely shopping experience. Whiskey exchange is very expensive. I'll stand by that. Although, as Billy Abbott explained, there's people with money in the world.
Yeah.
But they leave you alone. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They don't pester you.
Yeah.
What you should do is you should do the opposite. You should pester them.
Yes, I'm going to say I am the exact opposite. I pester them to see what free drams I can get.
Yeah, Mike's like, what can I have free if I buy this, and can I get that? And another way to pester them is go, have you got any Springbank? And then they go, no, just the 10. You go, you're sure you haven't got any 15? You haven't got a little bit of 18? You haven't got any of the 12 cask strength? No, it's not been released in recently. You haven't got any Pappy Van Winkle, 15, have you? No, we haven't got any Pappy.
Have you got any Catty Sark Prohibition? No. Oh, we might have.
Oh, well, we have got some of that.
Yeah.
Dear me. All right, Cliff, absolute last question. What was your whiskey of 2024, seeing as we're in January and this will be out in January?
A couple of highlights from 2024.
Hang on, we never asked for highlights.
I do.
Mate, look at him. Mr. 3 albums.
Highlights, 3 albums, 10 best whiskies.
There was a couple of things that really pleased me about in 2024. One was that Rosebank in Falkirk reopened, and it's, if you've never visited it, you know, who knows what it will be like? Will it be as good as the old one and all this, that, and the other? But the visit and the distillery is magnificent, and it's local to me, and I would recommend it to anyone. I'm not on commission, so there would be that. I was really excited to try the Spirit of Birmingham dram at Kendal.
Yes.
That was like, it was like really nice, and you know, is it my best dram of the year? You know, probably not, but the story and speaking to Tony. and having the dram there, that was a real treat. So you know, I'm gonna call that out.
You've reminded me just there. You've reminded me we must have Tony on the pod, Tony Pancakes, because that his is the best new make I've tried.
No, the new make is excellent, and the dram really works. But I'm gonna call out your friends in mine, Glasgow Distillery again, and I think you know, right at the start of the year, might even have been the year before, was it was the start of the year, Manzanilla, Manzanilla dram, and the No Nonsense PTPX as well. Those drams were just magic.
Vinny.
You know? So I'm gonna give a nod to our friends at Glasgow. I think that those were real highlights. So
Glasgow boy votes Glasgow. Kel Surprise.
And actually, I was born in Paisley, which is technically a bit closer to the distillery than Glasgow is.
Does Paisley have its own distillery?
No.
Get on it. There's a distillery everywhere.
It's got its own problems.
Well, look, Cliff, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's been fun. Thank you.
If people wanted to find you online, Cliff, how would they find you? What are your handles on social media?
So I'm on Twitter X as Kings of Euron, but I'm Cliff's Whiskey on Insta, and I'm just Cliff Man everywhere else, so you can find me.
Well, if you want to follow the podcast, we are on www.honesttomalt.com. We're on social media, on all of them at Honest to Malt. Duncan's on at Whiskey Tip. I'm on at Whiskey Wings. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Wait a minute, did he just say he didn't like the sound of typewriters? That's it, I'm writing in. To whom it may concern. Never mind what is in my glass, this is what's up my arse. People like you that don't like the sound of typewriters, how do you think all your listeners write them 1-star reviews? How do they get them down on paper? It's about time you paid a bit of attention to us typewriter users and stop dissing us on your show. I shall be typing a letter to my MP in the morning. Lots of love, your listener. P.S. The only type I don't like is your type.